So look, the true crime niche is a bit of a tale of two halves. On one hand, there are elements of it that you can almost be proud of. You know, the resilience of it, despite getting hammered and hammered and hammered. We've built a community, around this channel, we've built a community of people who will share their thoughts and feelings and do seem to be, for the best part, open to listen to one another's take on how cases are. We can't always make a huge difference, but at the end of the day, people have a natural curiosity when cases are about, whether it be old cases, whether it be new cases. And, as these cases unfold. And, I think it's nice to have a community where we can share our thoughts and opinions. But then you've got this other sort of half to it, and it's the embarrassing half that make you want to smash your head into a wall. Now, obviously, this isn't the first case where these things have cropped up, but the Quinton Simon case it's almost making me cringe every time I see certain things happen. And, I'm not going to mention channel names on here, I'm not going to go into the ins and outs of it, but I think you guys will know what I'm talking about. At the moment, we've obviously got Quinton Simon. He's the 2-year-old boy who's seemingly been sent to a refuse dump by his mother Leilani, and he's being searched for. Not today, it would seem, because they've taken time off. I get that this is a really, really hard job. I get that, and I do not envy the fact that these people have got to partake in this, because it's horrendous. But is it appropriate for them to be taking time off? Now that, I feel, is absolutely questionable. Again, that's a tale of two halves. On one hand, they're doing their utmost to get redirection of funds so that they can do the search, which is great. But then on the flip side of it, again, they're taking time off, and I do feel that is inappropriate. There are many, many jobs out there where you can't have time off. You don't. It's something that you have to keep them wheels in motion. And I feel that this type of thing, it's one of those things that you've got to go until it's done. But anyway, I digress. And we know that I don't do that often. So look, so we've got Leilani, we've got this little boy being searched for, and around this house is seemingly turned into complete and utter pandemonium. We've seen 4 or 5 arrests as the protesters outside that property overstep the mark. And I think what I mean by that is, look, this is a tragic event. This isn't a circus. This isn't a carnival. This is an incredibly tragic event. And what we're trying to do, we're trying to get ourselves in a position where charges can be brought forward. And, I myself have made it very clear how I feel about the justice system and how that works. And the fact that I feel, for the most part, that it doesn't always have the victim at the forefront of its mind. It's more about trying to dot the I's and cross the T's, because the system is very open to manipulation, and they're so worried about people escaping justice that they have to operate in a specific manner. We're not going to mention today about the fact that it can be bought and sold very easily, but just the fact that it seems very, very hard to just obtain justice in what appears to be very simple situations. Now, obviously, Leilani has turned around and said that she can remember sending her son to the refuse centre. And, you kind of think, well, that's admitting to it, but people have quite rightly said, yeah, but what if they took her in? She then turns around and says, actually, I changed my mind, I didn't. It's that. And I get that, but again, that is an issue with the system itself. If you take someone in and they've told you they've done something, and then you take them back in, they say, no, I didn't do it. to not then be able to take them back in again is ludicrous to me. You know, I don't know the ins and outs of the US judicial system. I don't, and I won't, you know, pretend to, but I know how it works in the UK. And both these systems seem very, very similar. As fucked as one another is the term that I would like to use. But yeah, so we're trying to kind of hold on with bated breath so this little boy can get justice. But then you've got these people, which include content creators, that I think is now going into the realms of borderline incitement to violence. It seems to be that way. And that's at times like this that I don't feel so proud to be part of this niche when it includes people of this nature. I am just as angry and upset as anybody else in this. I think it's absolutely disgusting, and I can't stop but think about the many, many peoples in the world who have lost children themselves tragically, and they perhaps won't have children again. You know, all the people who have been fighting to try and have children and can't have them. You know, I've got friends who have suffered for many, many years, you know, trying to have children, and they just cannot have children, and it's financially affected them, mentally and emotionally affected them. And then you've got these kind of people who are tossing these miracles away like garbage. So I get the upset, I get it, but what difference do you make? What difference is it making being out there causing the scenes that you're causing? And what is your true focus when you're there? What are you trying to do? So that is my question, and I'll happily listen to the answers. What are you hoping to achieve? Is it that you're hoping to achieve, you know, the next top thing to put in your video to use as a click and a view? Is it the... I don't quite understand. You know, I can understand the anguish, I can understand fully the upset, but I can't understand where you're going with it. Maybe anybody can tell me. You know, maybe it is something that I've missed. But like I say, it's difficult to be proud of being part of something when there's elements to it that seemingly operate in a manner that I don't fully understand. And to me, it just seems to be for personal gain, not so much to assist in a situation, because I can't see how that will work. And people will argue, well, what do you do, Harsh? All you do really is get on a video and you rant and moan about people. And you're right, to a degree, I do. But it's like what I mentioned at the start of this video. I would like to think that over here we are forming a community that seemingly didn't exist before. A lot of the time it was about people saying that it's my way or the highway. You have to agree with the creator. If you don't, then you're vilified for it. There is arguments, there is fighting, there is, you know, we've seen it escalate into people being physically attacked in the real world because of differing opinions. But I like to think that this just provides a sanctuary, if you like, where people who have got that curiosity and they do feel that they want to be involved, they do want to discuss it, and they want to get it off their chest how they feel, that they can do so in a safe environment. And this sort of activity proves that ever more it is this sanctuary that is needed. Because there are some fucked up little pockets of community within this larger encompassing community. Let me know down below what you think about this whole Quinton Simon situation. Is it getting to the point where people are overstepping the mark? Are they doing stuff in the guise of trying to do something when in fact they're doing something for much more personal gain? Let me know, and I'll catch you all in the next one.